Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Tucker. I want to talk about multiplying with positive and negative numbers. If you don't already have a chart set up like this, take a moment to grab a piece of paper, set up a chart. It's a multiplication chart, but it's set up a little bit differently. It goes from 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4 across the top, and also down the side. So take some time to set this up, pause the video, and go ahead and set it up. Okay, the next thing that I want you to do is let's go ahead and fill out this section right here. Right here. These are all of your positives times positives. Okay, so it'd be positive 4 times positive 4, well that's 16. Positive 4 times positive 3, that's 12. Positive 4 times 2 is 8. Positive 4 times 1 is 4. Positive 4 times 0 is 0. Go ahead and fill this section out. We know that a positive times a positive is positive. And pause the video while you do that. Alrighty, does your positive section look like my positive section? Alright, good. Let's talk about, let's say like this section next, where we're taking positive numbers right here. Oh, that looks horrible. All of these positive numbers times those negative numbers. Well, let me talk about multiplying in the first place. Let's say that I've got 2 times 3, and we know that's 6. Well, multiplication just means repeated addition. This says that I have 2 groups of 3 that I'm adding together. 3 plus 3 equals 6. So multiplication is like shorthand for repeated addition. If I had 3 times 3, well, that says we have 3 groups of 3 that we're adding together. 3 plus 3 plus 3. And we know that equals 9. So 3 times 3 equals 9. Okay, so what if I take 2 times negative 3? The same thing applies here. I am going to take 2 groups of negative 3 and add them together. So I'm taking negative 3 plus negative 3. Well, here I've got negative 3 plus 3 more negatives. That gives me negative 6. So I know that positive 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6. What if I did 3 groups of negative 3? Well, that's negative 3 plus negative 3 plus negative 3, which gives me negative 9. So a positive 3 times a negative 3 is negative 9. Positive 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Positive 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And if we just follow this pattern, I've got negative 9, negative 6. What's going to come next? Yeah, one group of negative 3 is negative 3, and any number times 0 is 0. You can go ahead and put in those zeros, because 0 times any number is 0. And so what goes here? What if I had 4 groups of negative 3 that I'm adding together? Yeah, that's negative 12. So go ahead, pause the video, and fill in this section right here. So does your multiplication table look like mine so far? Okay, let's fill in this section down here. Let's take these negatives times these positives. And you probably already know what I'm about to say. Let's go back to positive times positive. We know that 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 groups of 3 add up to 6. What if I take 3 times 2? Well, 3 groups of 2 also adds up to 6. Multiplication is commutative. The commutative property of multiplication says it doesn't matter what order we multiply in, we still get the same answer. So down here, if I take positive 2 times negative 3, shouldn't I get the same answer if I switch the 2 terms around and take negative 3 times positive 2? Yeah, it doesn't matter what order you multiply in, you still get the same answer. So here, a negative 3 times a positive 2 gives me -6. All right, so this section down here should come up with the same answers as this section up here. So go ahead and fill out this lower left-hand section. Pause the video and fill it out. Okay, so does your multiplication table look like mine so far? All right, good. Now, it's kind of hard for teachers to explain what happens when you take a negative number times a negative number. And so I like to use this multiplication table, and let's just follow patterns. Okay, let's start with an easy pattern. Let's start right here. Okay, here I have 4, then it goes down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. What I'm doing is I'm subtracting 1 each time. Subtract 1, subtract 1, 1 subtract 1 is 0. 0 subtract 1 is -1. 1 subtract -1 is -2. Subtract another 1, you get -3, -4. Okay, so we're following patterns. And the same thing happens right here. So we're going -4, -3, -2, -1, 0. Here we're adding 1 each time. So what should come next here? -4, -3, -2, -1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, if you're following the pattern. Let's do this row right here. If I go from -8 to -6, I'm adding 2. Add 2 more, I get -4. Add 2 more, I get -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. Add 2 and I get 2, 4, 6, 8, just following the pattern. Let's follow the pattern here. I'm adding 3 each time. -12 to -9, -6, -3, 0. What comes next? 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, in this row right here. Here I'm adding 4 each time. So I'm going -16, -12, -8, -4, -4 plus 4 is 0, 0 plus 4 is 4, plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 4 is 16. And if you follow these patterns this way, the same thing is happening. -16 plus 4 is -12, -8, -4, 0, 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay? So now we've got this section right here, which is the most difficult to explain to students. I'm taking negative numbers and I'm multiplying by negative numbers, and my answer is what? The answers are all positive. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's just summarize all of our rules for multiplying positive and negative numbers. If I take a positive times a positive, my answer is positive. Yeah, we learned that back in probably 4th grade. Okay, this is the 2 sections right here. This section and this section. I took a positive times a negative and got negative. Here I take a negative times a positive and get negative. So a positive times negative is negative. And switch the 2 around, a negative times a positive is also negative. The section we did right here that I've highlighted in green, what happens when you take a negative number times a negative number? You get a positive number. There we go. And you know, division is the inverse operation of multiplication. They're opposites. So if I take a positive answer and divide by a positive number, I should get a positive answer. Okay? What if I take a positive and divide by a negative? Down here. If I take a positive number, let's see, let's take a negative divided by negative. That would be right here. Negative divided by negative gives us what answer? Yeah, it's positive. Negative divided by negative is positive. Okay. Let's take a positive divided by negative. I'll switch colors here. Positive divided by negative gives us what? Yep, that's negative. Let's take a negative and divide by positive. A negative divided by positive gives us a negative answer. All right? So basically, if you're multiplying or dividing and the signs are the same, you wind up with a positive answer. If you're dividing and the signs are the same, you wind up with a positive answer. If you're multiplying and the signs are opposites, you get a negative answer. If you're dividing and the signs are opposites, you get a negative answer. All right, and that's all there is to it. Good luck, everyone.